Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Coach McVay Show. I'm JB Long, and the Rams have 2 games to go. They're one up on the NFC West as they travel to Baltimore for this Week 17 contest. From afar, we say good evening to DeMarco Farr as well. What's up, D-Farr?
What's happening, man? I like you. I don't like the other guy. He's got my family thinking Lamar Jackson can kick my ass.
Hey, did you see him snap off a couple of those combinations on Big Tomlinson, climbing to Kendricks on the second level? Hey, he would have snapped your ass off, too.
See, here we go again. Where's my pants? Let's go, JB.
Well, that's where we left the conversation yesterday evening in Minneapolis following the Rams' 4th consecutive win, a clean sweep of the month of December. Sean, let's start big picture. And one of the things I was thinking about flying home is how you like your teams to be situational masters, right? Well, the last 3 weeks have presented some situations that are, for the Rams, unprecedented. How do you think they navigated them?
Thought they did a great job. I think if anything, I talked to the team. I said there's a lot of superlatives about this team that I could say, but the one thing that really resonates and stands out that I think is going to serve us well as we continue to navigate through this season, this is a mentally and physically tough football team. And the goal we said was, hey, let's gather ourselves. Let's look inward. Let's figure out why the month of November wasn't ideal. What are the things that we can clean up? While the month of December, we've had a perfect record. There's been a lot of things that we can clean up and continue to improve on. But, all the different things that these guys have navigated through, I just think it's such a credit really to the totality of the organization. But ultimately, the guys that deserve the most credit are the players. And I think our coaches have done an excellent job as well.
The W is all that matters. The main thing is the main thing. But I said this to JB after the game. I still think this team's best game is still ahead of them. They're still working towards being as good as they can possibly be, even after a good December.
I totally agree, DeMarco. And, we've talked about playing complementary football. I think that's been illustrated and reflected in a lot of ways. But what I was really pleased about is I think we're learning different ways to win football games. And I think that's what the good teams do. Yesterday, obviously, we want to try to not turn the football over like that offensively. But, when you could feel the momentum was starting to shift in their favor a little bit, for the special teams to make a play, I think at the most important time of that game to send us back up 10 when, they cut it to a 3-point game. They're kicking back to us. It was that was a huge play. Thought the defense did a great job handling some sudden changes. And then in spite of a lot of the adversity that we faced offensively, thought Matthew made some of his most important plays in crunch time on some big third down conversions. And, I love this team. I love the resilience of this group.
For a team that was pegged as star-studded and top-heavy this offseason, it's not just the 4-game winning streak, but who you're winning those games with, whether it's Jackson, who we mentioned, Coleman Shelton, Bobby Evans, Ben Skoranek, Traven Howard, Nick Scott, Creemore. I mean, we could go on and on.
Nice.
How awesome is it that the depth is what has carried this win streak?
It really is, and I think it's a real credit to these players, but also, the coaches, the coordinators, the position coaches developing the depth, and, Les and his group doing a great job being able to identify players that fit the system and some of the things that we're trying to do, some of the traits and characteristics, and then ultimately the development has really been illustrated based on these guys stepping up to the challenge. You look at the contribution that we've gotten from Sony Michel, too, who wasn't even on our roster until later on in the preseason, right before that regular season starts. And so it's been a lot of fun. That's why you do this is to be able to do it with people you love and care about, and to see those guys have some success and how much it means to them. That's what it's about.
Can I just give Sony Michel praise without disrespecting other guys on the football team? Because I like what he's brought to your offense. I like what he's brought to the football team. I like the way he runs the football.
I agree, DeMarco. And, I kind of mentioned this earlier when I was doing the local media, and I think he brings a toughness to our team, but really to our unit offensively. I think, there's certain traits and characteristics that guys bring to add flavor to whatever unit it is, whether you're talking about offense, defense, or in the kicking game. And I think, he adds a toughness to our football team, particularly our offense. Tough finisher, levels runs off. He's got some nuances to his game where he does a great job working edges on people in those traffic type situations. He's falling forward. See how physical he is in blitz pickups. And I think those offensive linemen love blocking for Sony Michel. I know they do.
Yeah, that 16-yard pickup on 3rd and 1 in the second quarter probably plays well in their room.
No question. And, You know what, too? I'll tell you what, JB, you know what, who was a big deal getting him back was Tyler Higbee. I mean, you talk about a guy that did a lot of dirty work. He had some great backside cutoffs where the ball was leveling back off in the C gap where, he's getting that backside defensive end out of his gap. And he's a stud. He played great in both phases, but just his energy and his demeanor, he's a glue guy for a football team. I thought it was great getting Tyler Higbee back as well.
We'll stay there with Rob Havenstein coming back. You got the mammoth back at right tackle. Just came.
We had the twin cheeses starting out at tackle with Dave Edwards and Rob Havenstein to start the game. So David Edwards was just settling into left tackle when he bumped back into left guard. I mean, his versatility, but getting Rob back. Rob's such a big-time leader for this team. You watch the maturation that's occurred since we started being able to work together back to 17 and how much he's improved, but also just the leadership that he provides. Love Big Rob.
Those minutes and hours right after the draft finishes in the spring are pretty important in the college free agent process. Why was A.J. Jackson a priority for the Rams, and how did what you saw in him back then translate into his first major opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, you really look at it. I was actually talking with Les about it today. I think his group does a great job of identifying some of those players. You go back a couple years at Iowa and you're saying, all right, looking at Alaric Jackson and Tristan Wirfs, and these are two of the guys that you're projecting as being big-time players. And, you could really say, hey, who's the big-time guy? Obviously, Wirfs has done an outstanding job, but it's more of a reflection of how good of a player and what talent and ability Alaric Jackson has always had. I think he's been in a great situation where he's really able to be himself. I think Kevin Carberry does a great job developing guys. And, he came in, and I can tell you one thing, it wasn't too big for him. He's just got a steady, good look in his eye. He's unfazed. He's tough. He's mentally tough. And he came in and did a great job, especially when you think about that type of setting and situation. Minnesota is one of the best away game atmospheres in terms of the pressure, the different things. That's what you love about it. But sometimes it can be big for a lot of guys. And he was unflappable and did an outstanding job, and thought he really did a nice job really in both phases, both the run in and protection.
When you have a player, regardless of position, that's so dynamic, like Matthew Stafford, you kind of have to live with the good and the bad, or how do you reconcile that as a coach? There's good play.
I think you help talk about, he's so smart, he's so conscientious. In a lot of those instances, DeMarco, it's more about let's talk through it and let's move on. But he knows exactly how he wants to handle it or what he was thinking. I mean, he's got such a great feel and such an amazing capacity for the game. And so it is a fine line where, that's his elite trait. But sometimes you don't want to be competing so hard that you put us in some tough situations as a team. And certainly I feel a level of responsibility with some of the play selections. But he knows it's more about, hey, let's work through it, let's move forward, and let's figure out a way to be as efficient as we possibly can moving the football and scoring points. And I love Matthew Stafford. I've learned more. I've learned to appreciate him even more with some of the adverse moments based on his responses and how neutral he stays through those. That just lets you know, man, I love this guy leading our football team, and he is a stud in every sense of the word.
I've been there. I've seen it. Hey, look, I might be trying to do too much. Let the game come to me instead of the opposite way.
That's exactly right. Well said right there. Couldn't agree more.
Just to go back to the atmosphere in Minneapolis, the sentiment you just described, what I didn't appreciate as much in real time is just how clean an operation that was. And given all the new personnel playing bigger roles, to come away with one penalty on teams for 5 yards, Sean, that continues a season-long trend of clean football for the Rams.
That's big. It's hard enough, when you play behind the sticks and you have self-inflicted wounds. The good teams don't beat themselves, JB. You know that as well as I do. Our guys did a great job, and I think a big thing that we talked about leading into that game, particularly offensively, where we knew we were going to be in the absence of our verbal communication because of the atmosphere being on the road. That's a big deal. That's a huge credit to Matthew. And then, you talk about having that center, not necessarily having the continuity at center where Brian Allen goes out early, to be able to have two guys step in, when you're operating on the silent count, not only in the shotgun, but also underneath the center. You're trying to time up motions, different things like that. There are some subtleties and some intricacies to that we definitely don't take for granted, that I think a lot of people wouldn't even really recognize. But that was a big part of our ability to execute, in particular in the run game yesterday. And I thought it was really well handled by our players. They showed great poise throughout the course of the game in a great road atmosphere like Minnesota has. I mean, that's an awesome stadium, awesome atmosphere. That skull thing, man, I'd be pretty jacked up if I was a Viking fan. It's like, ooh, this is some stuff right here.
I mean, wow. It seemed more like a cult. Yeah, we could tell it was loud, but it didn't seem like it was loud watching your offense go. Like you guys handled that well. So now you've crossed off. We're in the dance. You're in the postseason, so you can take that part off. So what's your focus from this point on after you've made the playoffs? Still
the same thing, be where our feet are planted. Let's find a way to play, have a great week of preparation and try to get our 12th win. It's, you kind of look at it as to start every single season. Everybody wants to get in, but you also feel like, hey, let's have an opportunity. Let's give ourselves a chance to try to win the division, because what that does is that ensures yourself a home playoff game as well. And so we have an opportunity to do that. There's a lot of things that need to take place, but the only way that we give ourselves a chance to win the division is handling our business. And so if we go have a great week of preparation, do a great job getting ready for a very tough Baltimore Ravens football team, we know if we win that game, then you give yourself a chance based on some other scenarios. But ultimately, if we keep winning and handling our business, then those things fall into place.
A full and normal week of practice is something that I would certainly wish for the Los Angeles Rams. It's been a while. Personnel-wise, What does it look like going into this week?
Personnel-wise, 2 tough losses in that game yesterday, JB. Greg Gaines is a guy that we do expect to be back, but he was having hand surgery. He came back in and battled. He's done a great job really over the last month of the season. Aaron Donald continues to be an alien like always. But as far as the personnel, losing Darrell Henderson, he's going to be on IR. Got his MCL on the one carry that he did have yesterday. Tough for him. And then Ernest Jones really just hitting his stride. Had the green dot, doing a great job leading, playing in really almost all of our personnels except for a couple and some of those known passing downs. But we're going to miss him. He's going to be on IR. He's going to get his ankle cleaned up. There's a chance that he could return this season, but we'll take that a day at a time with him.
Yeah, what a luxury to have Troy Reeder, a guy who's got a lot of experience, and Trevin Howard making some plays. Nice to have him back in the lineup.
No question. T. Howard did a really nice job, DeMarco. I was really pleased with him. Darius did a great job, kind of getting that tip, and then T. Howard ended up making that pick. But you felt his presence. You felt his speed, being able to play sideline to sideline. And then he also had a big-time key block on Brandon Powell's punt return for a touchdown.
Sean, at running back, would it be safe to say that Cam Akers' timeline is not at all tied to the status of Darrell Henderson? And now that we know what Darrell's status is, what does it mean for Cam this week independently of that?
Yeah, those things are definitely independent of one another. You want to make sure that you're smart and safe and making sound decisions as it pertains to Cam. But we would certainly love to be able to have him back. We started that clock with the intention of him being able to play. Whether that's this week or next week is to be determined. But he sure looked pretty good in practice last week when he's moving around, and he's strong. He's got a great look in his eye. And if we're able to get Cam Akers back, man, would that be a big boost for our football team?
You've got a great medical staff and a great training staff. A guy that has a torn Achilles has a chance to come back and play. That's unheard of.
It really
that's
is.
like a white whale to me. That does not exist.
He's done such a good job, DeMarco. I think, a lot of credit goes to Neil Elatrash and, Reggie and his staff. But ultimately, Cam is the one that's put in the work, done a great job getting himself ready to go. I think there's probably, it's the hard work that's really paid off. But there's also he's very blessed with great genetics. And he's a special guy, man. He is resilient. He's mature beyond his years. And he's a swaggy dude that brings some great confidence to everybody that he's around. And I sure feel better about myself when I'm around Cam Akers. And if he's able to play for us, that's going to be a big boost.
Let's delve into the defensive performance a little bit more. And really the month that was, they had a December to remember. 4 games, fewer than 16 points per game allowed, 6 touchdowns, half a dozen takeaways, a bunch more 4th down stops. Are they playing at a championship level for you, Sean?
I think they really are. I think they're doing a great job. And I think I think we're playing really well up front. I think there's some things that we can clean up in terms of just the overall communication and just being really seeing things as one in the pass game. But ultimately, they're doing a really great job. Love the way that they're playing. I think Raheem's doing an outstanding job leading the way. And I think Aaron Donald has really taken his game to another level. And for me to say that about Aaron with the level that he consistently performs at is really saying a lot. Jalen's continuing to be outstanding, and I've been very pleased with him.
I was happy for Darius Williams. The entire defense getting that pick, but if anybody needed to make a play like that, it was him for his confidence. Coming in there and getting the left hand and causing the pick to Trevin Howard. I thought that was great for him. That's great confidence boost going forward.
I think you're exactly right, DeMarco. You know as well as I do that those plays are really important just for the success and, to just be able to continue to build upon those things.
Sean, do you remember that ESPN.com study last season and the discussion about Aaron Donald not being a good run defender?
Yeah, that article held a lot of weight with me, let me tell you.
I'm sure it did. Wow. That guy.
Hey, he looks pretty good every single snap. I mean, it is uncanny some of the stuff that he's able to do, though, where he picks and chooses his spots to be able to, play behind or play around stuff, but he makes up for it. I've never seen anybody gap and a half people as you play behind somebody and then make up for it with elite twitch and closing ability. He is one of one, and I feel grateful to be able to work with Aaron Donald.
Yeah, the one rule is if you go back door, you better make the play, and he does every single time.
I think, DeMarco, I think that's one of those things that great defensive players do. You look at any great defensive player, they take calculated risks, and they know what they're doing, and that's why I think you want to be careful of kind of allowing guys to play, but you don't want to thin out the integrity of, keeping your gap, doing the roles and responsibilities because of playing off of one another. But he's taking calculated chances, and is it really a chance if you know what you're doing and you're able to make up for it and not disrupt the integrity of the totality of the design defensively and where you fit?
A quick day after on the punt return from Brandon. Had a chance to talk to him today. What a nice young man he is. And I want to actually start where it ended with Matthew Stafford bringing him into the huddle and kind of giving him a snap and victory formation. What do you think that says about this group?
They're really close. I think they care a lot about one another. Any good team I've ever been a part of, guys care, number one. And, they really pick each other up. I think it's a really special thing, just watching what they've done with Brandon and how he's come in. And he's really brought a great spark to our special teams in both return phases. I think Joe D and Dwayne Stukes did an excellent job, but there was a lot of really great superlatives on that 61-yard punt return. Guys doing their job, him being able to finish it out. But, man, that was fun, and to be able to end that game like that was pretty cool for Brandon, and he got a game ball afterwards as well.
Yeah, shout out to Buddy Howell, too, coming off that edge. Affected that punt. Couldn't follow through.
Sure did.
Right? Yeah, big time punt.
Hey, man, so you're not just studying the D&O, man. You're looking at all the little details. I love it, DeMarco.
I watch everything. And speaking of that, with the way COVID is and the way things have been and so uncertain, is it tougher for you to scout your opponent when you don't know who's going to be up for them, week in and week out?
There are some challenges, and really, with just some of the late adjustments, and it really shows itself on some of those, those phases of your kicking game and special teams, but hasn't really been a factor too much for the games that we've played. I know Baltimore, kind of similar to us, has been affected by it. It seems like they're getting some guys back, but it's more about, having agility for the amount of guys that we've been missing as opposed to some of the teams that we've played against.
Let's stay there then with the Ravens, your next opponent. And going back in time, you were with the Bucs in 2008 when they drafted Josh Johnson, right?
I was.
I mean, can you believe he started yesterday for the Ravens, his 13th NFL team in 14 years?
Wow. It's amazing. I mean, he's a really, tough competitor, really smart, got great athleticism. He's a special human being, and it's a real credit to him that he's been able to, extend his career as long as he has. And hopefully, if he's playing this week, depending upon their situation with their other quarterbacks, we got to be ready to go because it doesn't seem like it was long ago I was watching him pick apart a pretty dang good defense in the Colts on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, Lamar and Huntley atop the depth chart, hoping to get back for Baltimore this week. Early start time. It was moved to 10 a.m. Pacific today, and my first thought was, well, bummer, that's not really fair. That's not how it's supposed to be for a West Coast team. But, Sean, no one's handled it better than your Rams this year and really throughout your tenure.
Yeah, I think we actually like it better, JB. You travel. Guys, we've kind of learned how to kind of adjust and adapt accordingly. But I think it's better where you get up and you go play. Our guys really have been doing an excellent job of being ready to go. Great look in their eye right from the jump. I think Joey Blake, Reggie Scott, all the people that are, instrumental parts of our performance staff have really helped to kind of use the week to be able to set it up in alignment to be ready to go. And even though it's 10 a.m. in our body clocks, They've done an excellent job being able to handle that. And so that was something that we were actually encouraged about, rather than kind of get up and you feel like you're waiting around all day to play. I think our guys like it better, and I know I certainly do too.
Undefeated in December. How does that sound to you? That
sounds good. Let's keep it going so we can say that same thing about January.
Amen to that. Absolutely. I love Victory Mondays. Yeah. And by the way, I need 3 reps against the Lamar Jackson. I need 3, not just 1. I need 3. Can I get 3?
Hey, you don't really want that.
I just want 3. 3. 2 run, 1 pass. That's all I need. Let's go at it. No.
That's not. You don't pick what it is, man. You just got to go react and keep your gap integrity. And then if you got to transition to a pass rush, let's go.
No hard counts either. Let's go.
John, last question, last show of the calendar year. I wonder if you saw the intrepid reporter who dared to ask Bill Belichick for New Year's resolutions after the Patriots loss.
No, I did not see that. What did he say?
He answered it pretty good. Just said not now.
He said maybe next week, but
yeah.
I think for all the times we need a little bit of courage on the rare occasion when we talk to you after a loss, I think that reporter has inspired us forevermore. Do you care to share any of your New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolution. You know what? You don't need to you want to just continue to stack good blocks, keep enjoying it, not lose sight of, this is a real blessing, never a burden. And let's keep enjoying this and let's keep it rolling.
Congratulations, man. Heck of a win. Heck of a season. Keep it going, like you said. Good stuff, bro. Love to watch it.
Appreciate you guys.
I hope it's the hardest part of your week, trying to figure out how to connect with us on a Monday evening. Best of luck to you and all the Rams. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Coach McVay Show.